Seats up front, and if there's not enough seats, our staff will make sure we get the homestead staff to roll in some other seats. But it's good to see all of you here this morning on our last day of the conference. We've had an outstanding conference this year, and as your president, your outgoing president after a few more hours, but I do appreciate your support, and especially being here, everything you've done throughout the year, not only here at this conference, making it successful, but making VACO very successful and a lot stronger. This morning, it gives me a pleasure to welcome the Honorable William T. Bolling, who's the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Lieutenant Governor Bolling was first elected to serve as the 40th Lieutenant Governor of Virginia in 2005 and again in 2009. Prior to his election as Lieutenant Governor, Bill Bolling served for 10 years in the Senate of Virginia, where he was widely recognized for his work on health care and natural resources. And of course, we all know that prior to his service in the Virginia Senate, Bill also served on the Hanover County Board of Supervisors, so he's one of us. He came from local politics and understands the grassroots and what we all deal with. And during his current term as Lieutenant Governor, Bolling's focus has been on to improve Virginia's economy and create jobs. Earlier this year, Governor McDonnell appointed Bolling to serve in the governor's cabinet as Virginia's Chief Jobs Creation Officer. That's a lot to say at one time. I can just tell you personally, Lieutenant Governor Bolling, Bill has been an outstanding friend to help with us in Isle of Wight County. We have suffered a lot as far as the international paper flows into our economy and the subsequent businesses and everything. And the job creation has been excellent in working with us. We had an opportunity for a major business to come to our area, to the region, major business to help us. I got in contact with Lieutenant Governor Bolling, and he made a last-minute pitch and came down to our area and met with the executives just out of courtesy for us. He knew the aspect, and I'm going to tell you, he put that business on the spot, and I admire the way he dealt with the business at that time, because he told the executives, because it was a tough competition for us, not only for the state of Virginia, we knew it. And he told them that. He says, I don't know what your requirements are to come to Virginia, but I want to tell you that as Lieutenant Governor, if you give me 24 hours, you tell me what it would take for you to come to Virginia, I'll let you know whether we can meet those requirements or not. And I admire him for that. He has stood up, he's doing an outstanding job working with the governor and working across the state of Virginia to create jobs and to bring jobs and to help us in local governments. So it is a pleasure to welcome our Lieutenant Governor, Bill Bolling.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much, and good morning. What a pleasure it is for me to be here this morning and be a part of your VACO conference in 2010. Phil, thank you for that very gracious introduction. You read it just the way I wrote it. Okay. I used to always enjoy coming to this conference back in what I refer to as the good old days when I was serving on the Board of Supervisors in Hanover County. And it was a lot better for me then because I got to come and spend 2 or 3 days at the homestead. And now I come and I leave Richmond at 6 a.m. and I get here at 9 a.m. to make a speech, and then I have to leave. It's just not nearly as fun as it was when I got to come and spend a couple days in a wonderful place like the homestead. But I always found these meetings to be very beneficial. The opportunity to network with other local government officials around the state. I learned a lot about what people were doing in other parts of Virginia. And as I've often said, I'm not opposed to plagiarizing any good idea. And I often learned about what people were doing in this county or that county that we weren't doing in Hanover County. Sometimes maybe we were even able to impart some ideas of our own to other people, but I just found the opportunity to be a part of this conference over the years to be an incredibly beneficial experience. So, I applaud you all for taking time to come. And I know sometimes, to be honest, back home, you sometimes take some heat for attending conferences like this, and it's just a part of the world in which we live today. But I will tell you, I think these opportunities to network and share ideas and build relationships with other officials around the Commonwealth are really invaluable. So I appreciate your coming and taking the time to do that, and especially inviting me to be a part of your closing session. This morning, when I agreed to come and speak, I was going to speak primarily today about some of our economic development initiatives, but if you will allow me to do so, I think I may speak a little more broadly this morning, because I know Governor McDonnell was supposed to be with you yesterday and was unable to do that because of the death of his father. The funeral services for his dad, Jack McDonnell, were yesterday up in Fairfax County. There were a number of things the governor wanted to talk to you all about that he was obviously unable to talk to you all about. So in addition to touching on the area where I'm spending most of my time these days, which is in the area of economic development and job creation, I thought I'd take a few minutes maybe just a little more broadly this morning, give you an overview of some of the major initiatives that we've been working on in this administration over the first 10 months that we have been in office, and just try to touch on a lot of things real quick, and then stay on schedule, because I know we're all looking forward to hearing Senator Warner's comments here just a little bit later. Let me start by talking a little bit about the budget, because I know that is an issue of tremendous concern to local government officials. As you all well know, about 50% of our state budget is aid to localities. So when we're going through tough economic times at the state level, and we're cutting money out of the state budget, that creates pressures for you as local government officials. I learned pretty early on in my service in local government that what my daddy used to tell me was true: stuff does run downhill. Unfortunately, when it got to me, there was no place else for it to go. And that's the way, that's the situation I know that you all are in local government. You well know, coming out of the 2010 legislative session, we faced some very serious financial challenges in Virginia, as did most other states across the country. We met those challenges head on. It wasn't easy, but we met them head on. When we took office in January, we inherited a budget that was out of balance in the last 6 months of the prior biennium by about $1.8 billion. And then a budget for the 2-year biennium that we're now in that was out of balance by another $4.2 billion. So all totaled, it was a budget shortfall of about $6 billion over a 30-month period that we were looking at. So we stepped up to the plate. We cut $6 billion out of the budget. It wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. It never is when you have to cut money out of a budget. We certainly know that that had a significant impact on local governments as well as state government, and many of you then had to do the same thing, make the same tough choices at the local level that we had to make at the state level. The good news is that we dealt with it head on, and because of the actions that we took in reducing spending, and then some of the economic growth that we've been able to generate, and then some of the savings. We actually did something fairly creative and innovative last year. We said to state employees if they could help us save money in the last 6 months of the former biennium instead of spend money, which is unfortunately what usually happens at the end of a budget year, that we would reward them by giving them a 3% bonus at the end of 2011. And they did that. They were able to more than exceed the goals of savings that we set for them. So as a result of those efforts, the spending reductions, the economic growth, and the savings that we're able to achieve, we actually ended the prior fiscal year, the 2010 fiscal year, which had a $1.8 billion shortfall with about a $404 million budget surplus. And that was good news for Virginia. We were one of the few states in the country, I think one of only 2 or 3 states in the country, that actually ended that fiscal year with a budget surplus. And that is a remarkable accomplishment in a 6-month period of time. Unfortunately, thank you very much. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that we're out of the woods, because the economy is continuing to struggle, and there are still some issues in this next biennial budget that